Yes, extending to that particular model, okay, model number 5, XML processing. Under this, we will be going to study the XML processing with web services as well as XML processing concepts. Okay. So XML is a sensible markup language. It is going to be how this is going to be used and what are the syntaxes that it is going to use it, and how this is how that particular uh, XML is getting processed in the web applications that we can able to see in this. One more thing is that already we discussed in the module number 2 about this XML. Still, some more points that we can able to discuss in this XML processing. Okay. Here, first foremost thing is that XML is a markup language. Is not like HTML and not like a HTML, but it is going to have some particular mm, type of data. It's going to be means user defined data type that you can able to make it user defined data that you can able to give it to this XML language. Because here what happens basically is uh, it's a database is getting called means in the database we're going to have the attributes. Those attributes are user defined it is. So for that purpose only the XML language is getting existed. In the HTML we cannot able to access those attributes. Only in XML that it is possible to access that attribute. Okay. So for that there is a major benefit of XML language. Benefit of this XML data is that plain text and it is readable, transformable between the applications, different operating systems also it is possible to transfer. Okay. So it is a portable basically. XML is going to be used on the web server to communicate asynchronously with the browser, because once the data is going to be get stored, we'll be knowing that somewhere that it is getting stored, okay, the database. So asynchronously that you can able to access that particular data by requesting that particular database, used as a data interchange format for moving the information between the systems. So once you get the data, that you can able to interchange the format possible. The thing is that to fetch that data, we need the XML format, language. How this XML language is getting created? It is called as a well-formed elements are going to be there in this. XML format is going to be there. So how is this going to be written then? Syntax is going to be followed like this. Element names are composed of any of the valid characters. Punctuation marks, symbols are not going to be allowed. Except that everything is going to be allowed in this. Now you can see that element names can't start with a number first. Then there must be a single root element. For example, already we discussed about this one with the program. Okay, so any database you are going to create, first database name should be there. Then after database is going to be here. Then after the attributes are going to be there. Then after the data is going to be present in that. The first is the root element that it is going to be present. Only one root element should be there for one database. Is one of the that contains all the other elements. HTML document, for example, it is being given here. Okay, HTML is the root element like that, or XML there's a root element is going to be present over there. Then the database name is going to be, all elements must have the closing. Once it is going to start database, there should be close database should be there. Like a row, when it starts in HTML, row should close. Elements must be properly nested. Yes. So always you should have a start and end properly. Okay. So nesting already we have discussed this one also. Nesting is going to be once you start one element, then next element if you want to start after that, second element should close first. Then after the second first element should close. The nesting the elements it is going to be okay. Then we have fields can contain the attributes. Okay, values are going to be, it must be in the quotes, and attribute names are case sensitive. The way in which you are going to write that one in the database, similar way that you should write it in the XML. If you are not If that is not going to match, then it is not going to access. So it is a case sensitive towards the attributes. Now here is an example is that here you can see that the XML less than question mark and XML syntax is going to be version 1 encoding format is going to be there here. Close it. Then this RT under that painting is there. Painting ID is 290. Okay. Under the artist is there. The artist things are there. One is name and nationality. Now this is what the nesting is going to be. Okay. You can able to see here. Name is getting closes here, nationality getting closes here. Okay. Artist going to close here. Got it? So what happens basically is proper nesting is being done here. Okay. Then after here is that, and after the medium, painting is started here, painting is ended. So it is nothing but first row is ended or first record is ended, first database is ended. So that data is being closed. This is the first database. Second, we can say the data is going to be again painting is going to start with another number 192. The type of data you don't write, painting ends here. Again third row it starts, third row completes, third row ends. Then the artist. So that also you should proper nesting and proper closing should be simple XML document it is. See, and one more thing is that what he said, title, artist, these are the attributes, right? So those attributes are already present in the database. Similar way that it should be present here also. Make any changes in that. For example, here title is there. Instead of writing small t here, capital T if you write, it is not going to execute. It is not going to fetch that particular data. Okay. Here. Now, how this XML is getting processed? Okay, that it is going to use tools. Two tools are there. One is XSLT and another is XPath. Okay. XSLT is Extensible Style Sheet Language Transformation. Okay, so that it is going to be here. You can able to see this diagram. So there is XSLT is there, transformations. XSL, there is a style sheet is there. XML database files are the data files are there. All three together you are giving it to the XSLT processor. There is a processor is there. All three together you are giving, and in what format that you want, that you can able to access it. Either you want in the presentation format or in the word processing format or in the web format, any one of the format that can be. So that's what it is saying. XSLT is an XML based programming language that is used for transforming XML into another document format. Either you can use web format or the word processing format or presentation format. Any one of the format that it is going to transform. So that's why the name suggests here is XSLT, Extensible Style Sheet Language Transformation. XPath is there. XPath is another technology similar to the XSLT. So what happens in this is the data is going to be fetched. Okay. XPath is a standardized document for navigating the element with the XML document. You can able to see here. Okay. The XPath means this is the XPath, and there's a validations also it is going to be there in this. Okay. Second point is that XPath is typically used as a part of the programmatic manipulation of the XML document in PHP and other languages. Also, XPath uses a syntax that is similar to the one of the most operating systems directories. Now you can see that here. This is a painting, the same program it is going to be used. Okay. So here you can see I want to fetch the painting which is the year greater than 1800 years. Then you can able to have this. First is the art, second is painting. Okay, ID, that is ID is there, right?